governor failed to heed to the terms of agreement reached during the peace palace brokered by the same Mr. President, sir, in December 2023, and another one reached in 2025, most recently, sir, during the emergency rules in Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, convinced that the governor is incorrigible, Mr. Speaker, the emphasis are mine, cannot be trusted to abide by the constitution our government, sir, or reach a peaceful agreement against her, and therefore show respect to the office and the person of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, sir. Further convinced her that waiting for the conclusion of the investigation of the allegation of gross misconduct against the governor and deputy governor before proceeding with the consideration and financial approval by the House is the best thing to do, is the best way to go, sir. We do therefore respectfully pray this House to do resolve as follows. One, sir, condemn in substance the refusal of the governor of Rivers State, sir, Fubara, GSSRS, with support from the deputy governor of Sangozi Odu to present medium-term expenditure framework and 2026 application be in line with Rivers State Fiscal Responsibility Law 2010 and the Constitution respectively, as well as their reckless spending from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of Rivers State.
We act of gross misconduct in the performance of the functions of the office of the Deputy Governor by Her Excellency Sangozi Odu, DSSRS Deputy Governor of Rivers State. In compliance with Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, and other extant laws, we, the undersigned members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, hereby forward to you a note of gross misconduct by the Deputy Governor of Rivers State in the performance of the functions of her office. Gross misconduct 1. Reckless and unconstitutional expenditure of public funds contrary to sections 120, 121, paragraph 1 and 2, and 122 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. Particulars of gross misconduct are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H.
Proceed.
Gross misconduct 2, Mr. Speaker. Misappropriation of funds, public funds, contrary to the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, and extant Rivers State financial laws and regulations. Gross misconduct here are:
distinguished colleagues, in line with Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I will ensure that this document is forwarded to the governor within 7 days. Distinguished colleagues, I assure you I'm going to do my job in line with the Constitution.
Interesting development in Rivers State, and yes, that's the Assembly meeting. And yes, we've heard that there's an impeachment process going on, in Rivers State. We thought the political crisis in that state would have ended, especially when we ended 2025. But this is 2026 January, to be precise, and this problem seems not to have disappeared. So we have, recurrent, updates in different parts of it in Rivers State. Thank you for joining Reporters Lounge today on Ogun State Television. I am Simia Tabaru, and I have two gentlemen of the press to dissect the critical issues in the course of the week in the delis today on the program. Emmanuel Oke, thank you for joining us.
Morning, Simia. Happy New Year. The first time I'm seeing you this year. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Dara Dibimpe is also with us this morning. Thank you for joining us.
I will not say Happy New Year to you.
Because we're here.
I want to say Happy New Year to you.
We want to.
And we want to welcome our viewers to this program again this morning.
Yes. This morning, we're starting our conversation with Rivers State diesel collapses. Yes, we've seen different reactions when this particular impeachment announcement of an impeachment process started in the House of Assembly, and some said this is not this is probably or not different from what we are hearing from the gladiators themselves. We have the Wike of this world, and of course you have the Fubara of this world, who is the governor, and of course the SCT minister said this proceeding, this impeachment notice being served because of the allegations made against the governor and his deputy are really also about what is happening between the two gladiators. While the assembly is saying that it actually not about that, because they have the responsibility to do what they are doing. Emmanuel, this is an interesting case for you. You have remote calls, you have other causes of why we are here in Rivers State. I don't know if this is what you would support, or maybe this is correct at this stage.
It's unfortunate that this is happening with state resources at play. Now, the reality on ground is that the political solution that the president proffered during the emergency rule has now been upturned. It has been upturned simply for a reason, because the interests of those who are involved are no longer being protected. Now, you wonder why it is difficult for the people of Rivers, or particularly the governor and his assembly, to sit down and have a conversation. It means there are elements beyond what we see on the surface. If I have a disagreement with you and it's just within you and I alone, believe me, it's going to be very easy to settle it. But the moment there are people talking in your ears, there are people talking in my ears, and there are interests over what we are contending over, you find this kind of situation, and it becomes really difficult for us to sit down and form a middle ground. It has also taught us a lesson that the political solution preferred by the president during the emergency rule is just out of fear or respect for him. It's not because, let me not use the word respect, it's just out of fear for the president. It's not really because people respected Mr. President to bury their arches, or because the actors involved were really pacified. Now, before we get carried away with the semantics or with the undertone, it is important for us to highlight that the allegations against Fubara were indeed in the public when they happened. The public condemned it, and they are true. But then for every action, there's an equal and corresponding reaction. There's a law of science. There's something responsible for that led to that. If you also ask him, he would have his justification. The moment that case got to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Assembly, this is them wielding their power. These people are power hungry, and they will not stop, they will not relent until Fubara is out of office. Now, let me skip a bit and tell you who the direct beneficiary of this move would be. That's something I've always shouted about. You want to impeach the governor. If you impeach the deputy, if you impeach the governor, the deputy becomes acting. But you want to impeach the governor and the deputy at the same time. So Amewule is the direct beneficiary of this. So there's no way you will not hear him use all kind of English to describe what they're doing. The president has intervened. Yes, it does not absolutely, and we're being on the right side of the law now, that there was an emergency rule and that the president intervened does not absolutely rule out all that Fubara did wrong while he was in office. That must be said, and that must be noted. But the fact that this is being revisited shows you that there's an ulterior motive beyond just correcting the wrong that Fubara has done, but rather than to punish him, and this is done with pecuniary interest at heart. There's nothing else beyond this. Fubara out of office, get wicked man into office. Now the game changed the moment Fubara defected. The agreement, one of the agreements was that Fubara would not contest for a second term. But they all forgot then that that was under the PDP. Now that he has decamped to the APC has made it clear that he is number one, the leader of the party in their state. He is welcome to contest twice in line with the constitution, and that the deeds of the PDP should go with the PDP. As a result, since yesterday, the APC has also spoken in Rivers to say, keep your problem in Rivers, keep it in Rivers. This is APC, and we don't do things the way you do in PDP.
this, of course, you said a lot of things when the problem started. You know, the president mediating the two parties now. Before now, you know, they did a give and take sort of to reach that agreement, say the peace deal now. And you've seen, like Emmanuel said, for every action you have counter and of course the corresponding reactions, you know, most of the time. So you would understand that something has happened again. You know, the moment I listened to the governor of River State, you know, emphasizing on the fact that he's the number one, you know, member of APC in River State, I knew that trouble is good. It's just been, you know, they're trying to wake up the trouble again. So I listened to those backers, you know, of the governor, and of course you later on saw the reaction of the FCT minister saying this and that. So at the end of the day, we are here again talking about River State. What should we do? What should the president do this time? And what should the parties involved, you know, be doing?
First of all, we forget that we are in a democracy, and in democracy there is division of functions. It is not an outright intervention of the president, even though there are political opportunities for him to intervene. The issue of River State is like that Nigerian writer and author, a dermatologist, and Ezenwanko Okoro, who wrote in 1972, 1 week, 1 trouble. You see, majority of the things that we sit down to analyze, and those who are outside here even look at, when it comes to politics, we know little. We seem to glamorize the fact that yes, this is the arrowhead of the problem. But we forget that in politics there are antics, there are tricks. And in politics you must know your game very well. You don't demonstrate naivety in the theatrics of politics. You don't. The question to ask is the fact that are we sure that it was just a silence of the unknown that we had when we believed the so-called suspension of democracy in Rivers.
That's
the state of emergency has expired. It was just a silence of the graveyard. Things
are still there.
Yes. If they are not there, let's ask ourselves, what stops the governor from present a supplementary budget for you to run? Whatever you want to do, present it. What stops the governor, like all other governors in the country, to present 2026 budget appropriation for the state? Is bringing problem to himself, allowing people to work against him. And again, I've said it over time. Forget Wike is not somebody that people should bother. The people of River State should rise up to know what they want.
So what they want now, when we talk about what they want,
we are assuming this is what they want.
No, this is
because politics is different to sitting down in a room.
Exactly.
You know, terrorizing.
People want something. People would definitely want the dividend of the policy. They want good infrastructure. They want, affordable housing units and all of those things. But then you also ask, it's only when the atmosphere is calm that we can all have all that. Yes. And I recall the commissioning of different projects in that particular state under Fubara recently, and people were commending him. The people also were commending him for what he has done. So beyond all that, we were told also, we read in the Daily Star when the FCT minister said Fubara cannot get a second term. So now they know that it's always it's about the second term. For the gladiators, it's about the second term. And like Emmanuel said, the direct beneficiary of this, the moment the deputy governor and the governor is impeached, they are both impeached rather, you discover that the speaker becomes the governor of the state. So that's if it is possible. So at this, for this particular time, what can they do?
All these things that we are saying here, or what transpired yesterday, is still in the realm of allegation. And you can come back and say it will not work.
Is that a pressure tactic?
It's part of the game. But what I'm saying is this: when you're a leader, you demonstrate leadership.
Okay.
Because let me say something. Fubara will not be the kind of the person that will face that kind of aggressive, oppressive, or seemingly opposing House of Assembly. How did those in the past manage it?
Okay.
He didn't know how to manage. That's the problem. And he has forgotten that he owns the house. You have the power. You have the money.
No,
you have the resources.
I want to defy a bit.
You may defy from me, but that is politics for you. It doesn't work. No. Let me tell you why I said
the game is not different.
No, let me tell you why I said it doesn't. You may say yes on the paper, it doesn't own the assembly. But the game you play will determine how you want to own the assembly. In the era of Ubadimiji in Enugu State, Jimuno was troubled him. Jimuno was dominating the House of Assembly.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, let me land.
Another cases we don't have.
Let me land.
Political cloud that we have today.
Let me land. No, it is. You are the all in all in that state. You are the number one. People forget. You are the number one. It depends on how you demonstrate your power. And it is democracy. The president cannot tell you what to do because the constitution has clearly spelled out what to do. So he must understand how to use power.
Suggesting he is not competent enough?
I'm not saying he's not competent, but he doesn't know how to use political power.
No, I
win people on the side.
I differ on two things. The atmosphere is different from any other we have witnessed.
What is the difference?
The difference is that if Wike was not a federal minister, with a kind of political power, whether we like it or not, Wike is a presidential aspirant. A federal minister, a two-time federal minister, for which party? The first time for the PDP.
No. There are no presidential aspirants now.
He was an aspirant.
It was former.
I'm telling you the kind of weight Wike carries in the political scene. This same person is the one holding the entire PDP today to ransom. Whether you like it or not, like his character or not, he is a force. And to contend against that force is one thing that Fubara has not been able to do. Believe me, Fubara is also not a toddler. He would have attempted every of these means. Now, I believe he is also a bit hard as a man, but the reality is that when that assembly, we speak in this instance if we had an independent assembly or an assembly, but this assembly is Wike and nothing but Wike. My second differing point is that Fubara would also not present the 2026 appropriation bill to the assembly because there is an existing budget as presented by Ibokete Ibas that was passed to the National Assembly. That budget will run till August 2026.
The National Assembly passed the budget because there was no assembly in place.
Yes, but that
now that the assembly is in place, they are allowed to do that. But let me nullify the first instance you mentioned that Wike is a minister. Have you forgotten so soon when Minister what do we call him now? That is being alleged as one of the presidential gladiators in ADC now under Buhari. What's his name? Amechi was a minister. He left the governorship of Rivers State. When Wike was the governor, did he at any time overrun Wike? Despite the fact that he was a minister at the federal level, just immediate past.
But you can't compare Amechi
that is what I'm saying.
In terms of political
that
power.
That is why I'm telling you, political naivety is there. It is not, he has the power, he can make the call for whatever he wants to say. But you see, the allegations that these people make Can we say it is wrong?
No, I said that. The allegations are there.
How can you even after the resolution, there was no peace meeting, and then at the tail end of the year, he was allegedly saying sending 100,000 naira to each of a whole legislator.
Okay.
I think they are in need.
Okay, maybe the
Let's be
legislature.
frank. When we say I'm not in favor of wicked, but if you know how to cut a man to his self, you will do whatever you want to do.
There's one distinct point I'd like to make and emphasize. The bulk of the allegations this time around are allegations from the past. The same allegations
Because he allowed it to get
so the question is the assembly now outrightly disregarded? Now, I said it in my first opening statement that an emergency rule does not mean an automatic forgiveness or an automatic erasing of what Fubara has done wrong, but that they are revisiting this now means that they are still not satisfied. Now, they speak so much of this agreement. What are the agreements? We read them. The agreements were on the papers. Number one is that let me highlight some of the agreements.
Are you going to highlight it?
No, from
you
what
are
you
not
have
part of
read.
them. Forget.
They didn't debunk them.
The less you hear and the little you
Yes, but let me highlight some of the agreements.
That's politics.
The agreement was that Abeokuta Ibas would conduct the local government election in Rivers, which he did, and that Fubara would have no loyalists amidst the local government councils. That played out. This man keeps bending his back over along that peace deal because, of course, to save his seat, he goofed. Now, he went into that without fielding any candidate for that. That is why we can control the entire 23 local governments in Rivers today and make a lot of statements, because those were wicked people. They insisted that the assembly would not go its way.
So
the appointees, the commissioners, that's also part of the peace deal. The commissioners would also not be Israelis.
We are only whipping up sentiments. We have not faced the reality that are those allegations real?
I already mentioned that the allegations are correct.
But what I can tell you is that he's not going to be impeached. Leave politics for politicians. Let them continue to do
on that I agree with you.
Yes.
He is not going to be impeached. We are not at the assembly. We are not assembly members. But of course, political discussions are up. Experts are talking left and right, and of course, politicians are also weighing in options of having a Fubara impeached. The president, people are calling the president to also wade into this particular situation. But of course, we know that the people are the most affected. Now they should be talking, the world is talking about something serious, really. And that's why some are criticizing the FCT minister that for how long are we going to continue with 1 week, one trouble in Rivers State. Lagos State had their own fair share of it, and of course in less than 2 weeks or thereabouts,